Advisors are disappearing, but that creates a tremendous opportunity for you. There's also an additional business level on the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Some would even have a 90-10 rule taking place inside their practice, and that creates a tremendous risk for your top clientele.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
So there's an interesting phenomenon that is starting to occur in the financial services space. There's actually two articles. I've posted them side by side out of Investment News. One is referring to Merrill Lynch. The other is referring to Wells Fargo. In both cases, each of these entities has seen their rep count, their advisor count drop, but their revenues go up. So first of all, there's kind of two lessons to discuss here. Number one is the business model lesson, which would be that around the 80-20 rule, the Pareto rule. The idea that 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your customers, or in this case, 20% of their advisors. Now, I don't know their stats as a fact. I'm just assuming that that exists because, honestly, it exists everywhere. And I'll talk to you about something that we experienced on the same concept and how it impacted our bottom line in just a moment. But the first thing you want to think about is, how does that fit into your client base? Are you properly segmenting your clients? If you're not going to let go of the lower level clients, you at least have to ratchet the service levels appropriately so that your top clients are not underwriting the service you're providing to your lower clients, which is the problem that just about every financial practice has. They have their top echelon clientele who are physically and literally underwriting the services for their lower level clientele. In fact, if anything, it should be the opposite, shouldn't it? You want your top clientele, you want your mavens to be the clients you're duplicating and treating appropriately so that you can get more and more of that type of clientele, not the lower level clientele. So oftentimes what you need to do is simply ratchet the services so that the top clientele are underwriting the services provided to them. The lower clientele are underwriting the level of service that is being provided to them. Now, the other business scenario or project you need to think about as it relates to this is, where do you fall with the institutions that are affiliated with you? So whether it's a broker-dealer or a corporate RIA, an asset manager, whatever it is, however your affiliations line up, where do you fall on the scale with those organizations? Are you at the lower level? Are you just a number? Are you someone whose services are going to be diminishing over time because they're not focused on you, they're focused on others, or they're helping to grow a different subset of their advisor base than you happen to fit into? If that's the case, you need to find your own right fit, because that's what these groups are doing. That's what these articles are about. They're finding the right fit advisors. They're focusing on them, and then others have gone by the wayside. You need to make sure that you're a right fit with the institutions you're working with, and make sure that your clients are in turn a right fit with you for this. So we talked about the 80-20 rule a moment ago. Take a look at this. This line down here is our actual growth line from the year 2000 through post-pandemic. And you can see, the slight ups and downs, but you can see the nice upward climb that we've experienced. Back here in about 2001 to 2003, we went through a 24-month process where we actually found that we had not just an 80-20 rule, we had a 90-10 rule taking place, meaning our top 10% of our advisors were driving 90% of our revenue. Our top 10% of our advisors back then were, in fact, underwriting the services being provided to the others. What we realized was the top 10% were in a right fit with us. We dove deep in those relationships. They worked with us in kind of a franchise level. The others worked with us, I'd say, at more of like a brokerage level, and it didn't fit who we were and who we were becoming, and more importantly, who we wanted to be in the future. So over about a 24-month time frame, from 2001 to 2003, We went through a systematic process to kind of cull the herd, to shake through and find the gold nuggets, if you will. And we elevated some advisors, but many advisors, 90% of them literally, were jettisoned. We found a different home for them. A group down in Texas took them from us, and we literally severed those relationships. Now, we did it in a very professional manner. It went very well, but we literally eliminated the bottom 90% of the advisors who worked with us, and we have since then focused just on the right fit style of the top 10% who are now right fit. But that top 10% is basically now our 100%. And look what's happened to the growth line since then. It's a dramatic increase, but keep in mind that is taking place with 90% of those clientele, those advisors, being jettisoned, being gone, and that top 10% growing, helping us grow that way. And the beauty of it is USA Financial, because of the way we're structured, we don't grow if our advisors don't grow. We're basically a mere reflection of the advisors who choose to affiliate with us. So if you're finding you're not a right fit where you're at today, maybe you're a right fit here. And if you're a right fit here, this growth line is a mere reflection, which means for the most part, our financial advisors are growing that rapidly as well in their own practices, because that's what we really excel at, is making predictable possible. We really excel at growing advisors, getting them through the glass ceilings, getting them to the next level, taking a solid, average, good quality advisor and making them an elite advisor. That's essentially the focus of USA Financial. So anyway, the point being, two things to keep in mind, two things you can learn from those articles that are going out right now. Number one, it's all about right fit. Number two, you have the 80-20 rule. Maybe even a 90-10 rule, maybe even a 5-95 rule built inside your business on its economic level. You need to find what that is. Make sure your top best clients who you want to duplicate are not being the source of underwriting the services to the bottom. If they are, you will slowly lose your top level clients. And obviously, you want to do the opposite.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.